Live in the Smart Choice Windows and More studio, Allison Howard, Cleveland WNBA franchise president. When are you guys going to have a name?
Let's just dive right into it.
Well, I don't want to just call you the WNBA franchise. I want to call you the Cleveland so-and-sos.
You are going to have to wait until, let's say, January, February of next year. So not too long.
Oh, that's not too long.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
We got to get out with the people. We want to start to have some conversations. We want to listen. We want to hear.
All right, since you've been listening, what's been the craziest submission so far? I'm sure you've heard some really good ideas and some really bad ideas.
The names are all over the place. But shockingly, or maybe not shockingly, the number one question is, are you going to bring the Rockers back? So obviously there is so much history there, and it's such a great story to be able to tell. I can't guarantee that's what it's going to be, but I will say this. If we don't go with it, there will definitely be a great amount of influence that team has on this current team. So lots of fun throwback times, things like that are always going to be in the works.
All right, so you get this position. What is the first order of business for you? It had to be a whirlwind. I mean, you're moving here. West Sider, by the way. She is a West Sider, Kenny. I don't know how you feel about that.
I don't have a problem with people on the West Side.
Well,
I lived on the West Side.
She learned very early on there is a divide in this city.
I lived in North Ridgeville.
Yeah.
Well, one's easier to navigate than the other. It's more of a grid on the west side because that was all farmland. On the east side, as Lyman knows, there's a lot of brick and a lot of curves and roundabouts that if your motion sickness kicks in, it's not good. It's not a lot of good fun for you.
Listen, Cleveland is awesome. I lived in Los Angeles for over 20 years. So the fact that you can get on one side of the city to the next within 45 minutes, and that's like 2 miles in LA. I'll take this every day of the week.
That's nice.
But yeah, what was first order of business? What do you need to make sure that if this organization not only is going to be, we get it's a business and we're going to get into the business of that, but also successful and the best organization because you got competition, you've got other teams coming in, Detroit, Philadelphia.
Yep.
What was it that you had to tend to immediately?
Well, we are not going to be bouncing the basketball for another almost 3 years, right? So some people would say, what the heck are you working on this far out? But there is a lot, right? And because we had 3,000 initial payments down within the first 30 hours of the team being announced, right? And we did zero marketing. That was just being out there.
3,000?
Responding to the fans. Yep, that's more than doubled now. We're past 6,500 as of today. I think that we'll be at 20,000 by next summer. I don't think that's far off at all. I definitely think there's going to be a wait list. All good things. But the big thing is, let's get out. Let's get out into the neighborhoods. Let's get out into the community, because what we do know from those 6,500 initial payment holders is this is a different demographic. These are not our Cavs season ticket holders. They're not our Monsters season ticket holders. They're not our Charge season ticket holders. A lot of them haven't even been to Rocket Arena for one of our concerts or other events, right? And so this is a real opportunity for us to go out and even just educate them on how Rock Entertainment Group, RAG, that owns all of those teams in Rocket Arena, how we operate. Who is Dan Gilbert? What does it mean when we say we're more than profit type of a company, right? So it is a lot of talking. Cleveland's going to get to see a lot of me, going to get to hear a lot of me, but it's a lot of talking, and probably more important than talking, listening.
So what are the type of people that have been most east? Over 6,500, but they're not necessarily Cavs fans, or so what are we talking about here?
Well, you're still the demographics are actually not all that far off from our Cavs season ticket holders. It's a little less than, or a little bit more than 50% for women, but and a lot of families and a lot of people with kids.
Okay.
So the demographic, when you first look at it, it looks like our season ticket holders for the Cavs, but they have not engaged with us before. They're coming from all over the city, actually all over the state. A huge influence from cities like Pittsburgh, from Buffalo, Columbus, Toledo. People are really going to be willing to drive a while, right? Because women's sports is still growing. It's becoming so much more accessible, but it's still not in every city.
Obviously, we're talking to Allison Howard, who has moved here. She was in Los Angeles for a long period of time and now gets the gig. You are the head honcho for the WNBA team that is still nameless. We don't have the colors yet or any of that, but you got a lot of stuff going on. So what is it about the WNBA? We talk about women's sports all the time and the explosion over the last 20 years in this country, but the WNBA is so fascinating because a lot of people will talk about Caitlin Clark, and that got a lot of eyeballs. But the question is, okay, are those people staying? Are those people going to stay, and do they like the product? What are you finding in your research about the growth of this sport? Because, $250 million? You had, 3 billionaires put down that kind of money. Obviously, they think this is heading in a positive direction.
Yeah, and they're right? So I think that there's a couple of big takeaways. Obviously, we all hate injuries in every sport. And this year, the W really has been plagued. Caitlin Clark has played, I think, in less than 2/3 of the games, right? Viewership has skyrocketed for it's increased for the Fever, but it's skyrocketed for all these other teams. The Valkyries, expansion team this year. Usually expansion teams are bottom. They're battling for a playoff spot. Like their coach might get coach of the year. She's up for that. Like, it's just been really explosive all the way around. And they're changing the game. And that's what we hope to do. Change the game.
Allison Howard joining us in studio in the Smart Choice Windows and More Studios. Cleveland WNBA franchise president. What mistakes do you think were made in the first iteration of the Rockers that you guys are trying to avoid in this one? Because I want this to be around for a good long time. I really want this to be successful.
Yeah. I think the intentions were right with how the W was set up. But I don't think we may have had owners that were totally bought into understanding you needed to have a real dedicated staff, right? And that's where we have such an advantage. We have 534 full-time team members that work for us. So at this state, we're going to hire 10 full-time team members just to work on the W team by the end of this year, right? But I have shared services to help me in every other vertical that I can depend on. That was not around at all over 20 years ago. And so the teams are just getting a lot smarter. We all see from the success of the Fever, from the success of the Valkyries, the Toronto Tempo is going to start next year. Like, they've already set up themselves to be really successful. So I think everybody is reading the same playbook, and also we're sharing it.
So there's so much scrutiny right now, especially online, which is a total cesspool, talking about, these leagues, trying to compare them. And, the women have talked about wanting to get paid more. I mean, Caitlin Clark's getting paid. Her salary is like $75,000. And obviously that's insane. Obviously, this isn't the NBA either. You did get a new TV deal. So what is the stance right now without having any players or coaches, or you're assembling some front office members without having to worry about what they're going to say to you? What is your assessment of the desires of the players right now, and financially how viable this is all going to be, as we could be heading for a work stoppage?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hot topic, as you guys know. So with us coming on in 2028, we don't have a vote in it, but it's obviously something that we're looking at super, super closely. Even yesterday, we met with some architects to talk about how we're going to redesign Rocket Arena and our training facility out in Independence starting in 27 to prep for 28. And we're looking ahead to what are the best facilities that are out there so that we can make sure that we are providing not only a baseline, but way above that, right? For all of the different types of players that we might get. Might get a rookie, might get a mother, right? And everything that's in between. So for us right now, it's just taking best practices from across all the leagues.
When somebody says, hey, the WNBA has been a loser, it's been a loser financially, what would you tell those people? Because I have to fight with these people on a daily basis.
Lyman has a great counterpoint.
I tell them about the new TV money, and I say, how many professional teams and their owners say, yeah, we actually lost money last year. Yet that doesn't come up in this argument about the WNBA. In fact, Dan Gilbert famously said, when they were on a championship run early on, he's like, yeah, we actually lost money last year. So I kind of laugh when people say that about the WNBA, which just came into a huge record numbered TV deal.
Yeah, I think there's two really good points that a lot of people, a lot of fans tend to lose sight of, which is in men's sports, a lot of these owners lose money in very quote, air quote, successful teams. So that is a bit of sports. Number two, no league ever has seen the hockey stick approach of what has happened in the WNBA that the W has seen in the past 2 years. Usually it's more of a steady climb. For men's sports, there has never been anything like this before of what the W has shown in the past 2 years.
Big splashes, any possibility. Can we get Don Staley or Caitlin Clark here?
I cannot commit to that, but I will commit to you that we are always going to have a championship mentality and always want to bring the best because Cleveland deserves it.
Allison Howard, Cleveland WNBA franchise president. Where can they find more information?
Oh, go to WNBAcleveland.com. That is where you can get more initial payments. You can come and see me as well as the WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert if you are an IP holder on the 16th of September at Rocket Arena. We're hosting a real special event with some great surprises that'll be there.